Hi folks, Adewale here again, and because I've been looking through the community in the group, CC group, I've noticed that quite a lot of people are still struggling with the basics of using CC frameworks for writing articles and blog posts. I think there is a way to write articles and blog posts without using the frameworks, but I believe the frameworks will give you a lot faster route to achieving your aims. So just to help with that, I'm just deciding to do a simple series of videos, just looking, taking people through the process of writing, doing different things with the frameworks. First would be just writing a simple article. And so what I've done here, those of you who've been with CC for a while, you already know this. So I created a guide with all of the frameworks I have written for CC to show you how to use them. And I'm going to be working my way through each one and gradually helping you just to see you could just come into CC without really knowing anything and just follow this process to achieve your writing. Even if you decided you didn't want to write, create frameworks yourself. So the first one we'll go for will be the how to write articles type 1. So first, you may have already heard about this. We're planning to run a CC framework mastery challenge, a 5-day mastery challenge where I'm going to be walking you through the process of mastering all aspects of CC for your business. So if you are struggling with just knowing how to create the best frameworks for your niche, or you just want to improve on being able to get the right outputs from your frameworks a lot faster, join us in the Mastery Challenge. At the moment, all the free slots are gone, unfortunately, so you can't grab that anymore. But we still have available, it's now 50% discount slots. So if you are able to get in for one of those slots, you can, when we actually do run the challenge, you can get a spot for 50% discount, the normal price, right? To qualify for that, all you just have to do is join the CC Framework Mastery Challenge group and pose your biggest difficulty with working with frameworks in Closerscopy. And that's all you have to do. Once you do that, and you do that in time before all the 50 slots are gone, you qualify for the 50% spot. So let's get on with this tutorial. How to write an how-to article. So what I would suggest is once you get a copy of this guide, so a copy of this document is going to be in the description. However, if you are wanting the up-to-date copies that are, because I update this regularly, you can email me or use one of the links at the bottom in the description to join the list, and you'll be automatically sent a copy. And when it's updated again, you send another copy. There are loads and loads of frameworks I've made for different things. And this just helps you walk through the process without having to think too much. I know sometimes as a creator, all you just want to do is to come and create. You don't want to come and have to worry about how do we make frameworks and how to do all these things. Yeah, I know that's the case for most people. So with that in mind, you can just come here and just follow the guides and get your output as easily as you can. So as we said, today we are going to be dealing with how to write and how to type article. You just copy the section you want to use out into Closerscopy, and the idea will be just to follow these guidelines here. So when you click on any of these links, it's going to open a new browser with what you already have there and open to the framework that is listed here. This way you don't have to go through all the hundreds and hundreds of frameworks there on the community to decide which ones to use to get the output you're looking for. I believe you have to click Control and click with PCs, maybe Mac is command. I'm not a Mac person, so forgive me. Anybody who's a Mac person watching this, can you just put in the comments box what command to use? So control click will open a new browser. And I've asked Nico why is it not possible to just control click and open the framework next to in the same browser, but there's some browser limitation that makes that hard to do. So it always has to open into a new browser. Okay. So I wanted the AI to create a topic for me around anger in relationships. So essentially the topic generator is if you come into AI, into Closerscopy, you know the niche you're in, but you don't have any idea of topics to write. So the topic generator will come up with loads of topics you can write around. And so what you do is take the topic generator's responses and plug it into a how-to headline generator. So I've got 2 styles here. Show you what each one does. So how to overcome anger in a relationship, how to manage anger in a relationship, how to let go of anger and still have a happy relationship. I think I'll go for this one, how to overcome anger in a relationship. Now, whilst this is talking about something to do with personal development or health type things, these frameworks will work for all niches. If I have time, I'll show you examples of other niches too. Let's try the second headline style. Interesting. Headlines. How to win an argument you've already lost. How to be angry and not go nuts. But you get the gist. You can use this to just get your how-to headlines. It's quite simple. So next we want to generate our intro. With most of my frameworks, you have instructions here where it says put in your how-to title to get the article introduction. So you just have to do is copy this title and plunk it in here. Now sometimes the AI will just give me an introduction that I like, but sometimes I may have to stitch them together to get what I like. So it starts with a question. How can you stop yourself from getting angry in a relationship? You want to be able to live in a happy relationship and not get angry and fight constantly. You want to have a happy marriage and be able to find time to have fun together. But it's so easy to become angry in a relationship. It's so easy to get mad at your partner. They have done to hurt you. This will cause you to have a hard time opening up and getting closer to your partner, and it will be so hard to forgive your partner for their shortcomings. And if you're not careful, you become so bitter and resentful. So we've got our introduction. When you are editing, make sure you remove all these labels. These are all labels to help guide the AI to write what you want. Once you remove the labels, everything should read clearly. So there you go. I got that introduction in a few seconds. Now, after this introduction, you've got these different tools that you could use to discuss the problem and solutions you want to highlight. So you could either use a problem and solution style generator or use parables, made up stories, to try and expound on the problems and the solutions you're trying to generate, or just kind of use an explanation generator. So you don't have to use all these tools here, but these are all different things you can use for the body of the article. I will go through each one and generate something from each one, so that you can see how they all relate. And you just have to decide which ones you would choose for your article when you get to that spot. Okay, so let's try the first one. So again, all you just have to do with this one is to put in your how-to title to get a problem and solution discussion. Okay, let's put that in there. And I'd say, excuse me, I've got a very bad cold as I'm doing this video. I hope all my splurting and coughing is not getting on your nerves. Generates a quick discussion of how the problem can exist in the relationship, the anger problem. All we're trying to do is help the content to connect properly at each stage with a person's struggle with anger in their relationships. So those responses are good. And if you are not really wanting to get things that are way very, very deep, you could just use whatever responses it gives. But I tend to like to go a little deeper, and to go a little deeper, you may need to stitch things together. So this one comes up with a problem heading, and that problem heading could be something you use as a subheading here in your article. So this is the problem solution generator style one. Everyone gets angry from time to time, but some people have problems dealing with their anger. They may lash out. All of these are sort of helping, they're sort of relevant, but I want to do something here. So I've taken in the problem heading and taken in that, and I'm going to use the intro and then use the key in process as a key. And to do that, what I'm going to do is copy this. I like what it's saying here. So another way you could think about all these is that you could actually combine all of them in one article to give a different flavor to each section, with each section dealing with a subheading. So in this case, we've come up with section 1, which discusses how to foster understanding in a relationship. Again, we remember to remove all the labels from the frameworks. So if you look at this process that we're following, you'll notice that we don't actually have like an outline per se. We're just using all the different frameworks and letting them come up with their ideas for the outline. Another way you could go about doing this would be to have a separate outline that you want to follow, and use that to start off the discussions. So for example, with this particular framework, it starts with intro to the problem, being, and then it's giving you an output, being angry with someone else, with someone you love and want to stay with. So what we could do is to change this with a particular subheading that we've found already in our research. This will be one of the things we want to be answered in the framework, and then the AI will run with that and give us an output based on that. So let's just imagine we've done that. Actually, to do that, something you could also do is go into Google and type in your headline. In most cases, Google will then at the bottom give you subheadlines or related things which you may use as subheadlines. Okay, we could use subsets of this. What makes a woman angry in a relationship, or what makes a man angry in a relationship? And interestingly, when you do these kind of things, I'll choose the subheadings from Google's suggestions. The AI tends to veer towards giving you keyword-rich content if you are interested in the SEO aspect. So we're going to use learning to understand what makes a woman angry, and then maybe also then use learning to understand what makes a man angry in a relationship. I like some of what it's come up with here, but I feel is a bit sexist. It's suggesting that men are generally more expressive when it comes to emotions, especially emotions like anger, whilst women are more adept at masking it. My experiences have come across men who know how to mask efficiently, and women who also are extremely expressive of their emotions. So I think it goes both ways. So these are the kind of things you might find with the AI. It's trying to take a stance, and in some situations it's good to take a stance because that will create an argument, and when you have an argument, you can generate traffic to your website. So you may choose to just keep this as it is, but I'd like to change this for my site. Again, I should not necessarily need to use all these tools. I'm just doing this as a way of showing you how these tools would work. So once you've come up with your body content properly, then you just use the conclusion and you're done with your article. So let's see what we can do with the parable generator. So the parable generator requires a subhead and a storyline. So let's use one of the subheads, controlling anger outbursts. So this is going to be the subheading, and then this is how you're going to start the title of the story, what to do with unexpected anger outbursts. Because sometimes you may be in a situation where you got angry, were not expecting to, you didn't intend to, it just came out of the blue, and you don't know what to do about it. So let's see what the AI will come up with. So whilst this is in first person, you could make it into a story about somebody else. So it says, every time I would get angry, I would start yelling. The more I yelled, the angrier I became. This made me feel bad about myself and caused me to lash out. So we could make it into a story of a lady named Tamara. So Tamara, every time Tamara would get angry, she would start yelling. The more she yelled, the angrier she became. This made her feel bad about herself and caused her to lash out at people even more. Quite often the problem with anger management is that the situation is often so fast and quick that you get angry so quickly you don't realize it was going to happen, and before long you just lost control of the situation. So the reason why we would use a parable or story again is to try and make the article more relatable to people. So what that's just giving you is giving you ideas for stories. I mean, you can edit it however you wish to edit it. So you just create a story that links very well with this particular part of the problem of not being able to control unexpected anger outbursts from yourself. So we've got our story here. The story then introduces the explanation that we want to help you understand how to achieve this. So how to control unexpected anger outbursts from yourself. So we use one of the explanation generators. I'm always making sure to close the previously opened tab just to make sure that I don't have multiple elements being saved at the same time, which will kind of confuse your database. So you always want to have the latest changes you've made in the current tab you're using. Okay, so use can you relate to bring it back to the people. So taking the storyline, use can you relate to bring it out of people, and then ask, I like this first section here. If you're someone who regularly loses temper, you probably notice that you can sometimes have a problem with control. You might find yourself angry before you even realize what you're thinking. Okay. What I would love to have here is a bit of maybe some pointers of different things to help this person who's lose their anger easily. This explanation is a good explanation, but I think it's covering grounds that I've already covered in the paragraphs above. Or perhaps maybe what we can do is just see if we can create a storyline around this. Yeah. Let's start the agreeable points this way. Let's see what it comes up with. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm not limiting myself to where I take the content for each section from. If I feel it makes sense for what I'm trying to achieve, I take it from anywhere from the output and add it in. And this gives me the content a lot faster and makes my content have a lot more depth and meaning, which is better than just grabbing what the AI gives you first of all, in the first instance. Sometimes the AI can come up with first instance gold, but in most cases, I find that I get better results by chopping, adding, connecting different things together. So just taking that section has helped the AI come up with very useful steps towards managing angry outbursts that you don't expect to happen. So the first step in controlling your anger. Okay, so this is what we had before. If you are someone who regularly loses his temper, you've probably noticed that you can sometimes have a problem with control. You might find yourself angry before you even realize what you're thinking. Your brain controls your body in a lot of ways. So if you want to control your anger, it is important to control your thoughts in your brain, to learn. If you're thinking negative thoughts that make you want to shout or hit, your brain is telling your body to act that way. So the first step in controlling your anger is controlling your thoughts. To do that, try these techniques and go through some nice techniques, and then finally finishes off with a few more steps, which I feel are quite helpful. Take some time to reflect on the situation before you lose your temper. Find a calm space, which I feel is they're quite good. So we've used made-up stories, we've used parable generators, we've used explanation. We've actually generated a list of steps for the article. I don't think we need to expand on the steps in this particular article. You could do that, but I think it would be overkill for this article, right? So as you see, you have so many options to write through your article from just that one thing we've copied from here. And that's all you have to do is just follow. You don't have to think too much about it. You don't have to. And if you don't even want to make frameworks, yeah, you could go about it doing this way. So come to the conclusion part of the. So sometimes I just like to save just in case the AI hasn't saved the last bit there. So we now control click, close that last one up. So this first conclusion here is an analogy-based conclusion. So it creates an analogy. I find sometimes analogies are powerful teaching materials. So takes a keyword or topic, and our topic is how to overcome anger in a relationship. I noticed that so far with this, I have focused more on anger for yourself. We may need to add some content for anger from other people in the relationship here to make it more balanced. So perhaps maybe after this, we needed to add how to control anger outbursts from your partner, how to deal with anger outbursts from your partner. I think we need that as well. So I'm going to just copy back. What should we use? Let's use this to here. Right, so we want some list points, which we might just maybe choose 3 for how to control unexpected anger outbursts from your partner. Please show me how to deal with next. So something to point out here, when you're using my frameworks, I've tried to provide examples every time. And the reason I do that is the format of the example, following the format of the example will give you the purest outcome that you're looking for. If you change this format, you are breaking the pattern that was created in the examples. Not that it will not produce the outcome you want, because sometimes I do that. I purposefully break the format. just so I can see what the AI will come up with. And sometimes it surprises me with very good outcomes. But if you find yourself not finding a good outcomes, it could be that you are not following the format of the example. So I would encourage you to click on the example, see the format, and try and phrase your question or your input similar to that format. Okay, so I've pulled in some of the points that I like from here, but what I want to now see is if, based on the points, the kind of points I've pulled out, the AI can then give me more points that are perhaps more familiar to these ways of thinking. Sometimes this works and sometimes it just won't work that like I want it to. So I'm just going to create a list of steps you can follow. You could now take each one and expand on that. But I feel that may be a little bit of an overkill on this article. This is already, it's not too long yet. Okay, so let's expand. This is 1,363 words. I want to get about 2,000 words. Let's expand on each of these and see what happens. So let's save that. Make sure. In this checklist point expander, you may need a little bit of clarity to each of the points so that the AI knows what you're focusing on. So because if you just keep in mind that we are all humans and we make mistakes, the AI doesn't know in what context. Are you talking in making mistakes about doing an exam, or making mistakes about not doing a piece of job well? So the AI needs the context to be clear. So here I would say, when dealing with her angry partner. And we get the AI to take this and expand from here. And if you notice what we've done, we've created a very, very interesting and engaging article using different styles of writing for each section, which will also add to the intrigue and the interest. It doesn't feel boring, doesn't feel monotonous, and it doesn't even look like it's written by with the help of an AI. It looks a bit too complex to what an AI would write, and that's because we've engaged with the process, isn't it? So when dealing with an abusive partner, take time to keep yourself safe. First, do not feel guilty for doing things that keep you safe from abuse or anger. So this has allowed me to create points and expand on those points without having to over worry and overthink about this and over plan about this. And remember, this is an article I didn't start out by planning. All I just did was get the headline, and with the headline just walk through each of these steps to get all the content I need for the article. And because I'm following the format of what I copied out of the Word document, see the how to write article recipe 1, because I'm following that format follows a natural progression of a blog, of a how-to article anyway. So just following these steps will come out. Just following that step, you will follow. Just following each of those steps, you will end up with a well-formatted how-to article. Okay. And an article that has a lot of meat, while still being quite simple. And that's brought us to the end of an article. And what's interesting about this article is that you may not even need to do much or even any editing, because it's all edited by the time you finish it. So we've come from not knowing what we are writing about to writing a full article, and it's fully edited, fully structured, and ready to go. You don't have to do anything else. So with that way, you don't even need to know how to do frameworks if you don't want to. Obviously, if you want to know how to do frameworks, you can feel free to join us in our group, in the CC Framework Mastery Group. Again, as we've reached how many have we reached now? Actually, let's go Facebook. So we've reached 29 now. I started this group 3 days ago, and just been asking people who are interested in joining us in the Mastery Challenge. We're going to have a 5-day Mastery Challenge once we hit 100. And what I've been doing in this group so far is helping people answer some of the questions they're already having in their efforts to make frameworks for their businesses. And we've been already helping people deal with some complex issues. So if you're struggling and you just want to join us for the Mastery Challenge, yes, just look in the YouTube description here and find the link to this group. So at the moment, all the free slots are gone. We had 8 people win the free slot. We had 8 people win the free slots already, and there are 50% discount slots, 50% discounted slots. I believe as of this point, 7 of those have been taken. So there's still quite a lot more to be taken. We're hoping to get this to about 100 people. So if you have 100 people interested in mastering frameworks, join us here. Cool. Okay.